Palm Beach County, Florida State Attorney Dave Aronberg. Dave, this this notebook with the to-do list is crucial and key because he's basically confessing not only to the murder, but to the planning of it.
Right, it shows his motive, too. And although prosecutors don't have to prove motive in court, jurors always want to know the why, and this tells you the why. He had means, motive, and opportunity. They've got a lot of evidence against him, and he will be extradited. His lawyers are just delaying the inevitable.
All right, with this notebook and the motive is really why this has captivated the nation. He talks in this notebook about the severe back pain that he suffered, about an injury he had in 2023. His roommates say he struggled with the pain, was bedridden for a week, had trouble moving. He even in the notebook, and according to the roommates, talks about the fact that as a young man, he couldn't even be physically intimate with anybody because he was in so much pain in his back. And Dave, for a young man, that's pretty big.
Yes, and he would be a sympathetic figure if he had not shot a person, Brian Thompson, who had 2 kids and shot him in the back. You know, whatever he did there did not cure his ills. Also, it's not clear whether the insurance companies ever denied him.
We haven't seen any evidence that he had any issues with UnitedHealthcare.
Right, so he's a devotee of the Unabomber and his strategies, his techniques. And so perhaps he just, in the last 6 months, became radicalized. We don't know where he was in the last 6 months. He fell off the grid and took this drastic action. His friends said, I don't know this guy. Whoever this guy is not the same Luigi we knew.
Yeah, well, we not only don't know where he was or what happened in the last 6 months to send him off the grid, we also know that just a little more than 2 weeks before the murder, his own mother reported him missing to San Francisco police, where I think she believed he was working at the time.
Right, right. And also he was in Hawaii taking mushrooms and other self-medicating drugs that perhaps led to where he is now, because the person you saw yelling at the cameras is not the kind of person you saw in his valedictorian speech. I mean, he's someone who really is a true believer now and is radicalized. It isn't a shame that the world knows about it. He had a chance to proclaim his innocence or keep his mouth shut. What he did there is great damage to his upcoming case.
There's still so many questions we still don't know the answers to. Notably, how did he know that Brian Thompson wasn't staying at the Hilton where the conference was being held? He was staying across the street at the luxurious Marriott instead. How did he know that? Also, surveillance video shortly before the murder, moments before the murder, shows Luigi Mangione allegedly walking down the street, talking on the phone. Who was he talking to? All his friends, all his family, none of them had heard from him in months.
It's a good point. And even though he may not have known that Thompson was staying at a different hotel, he knew that the shareholder meeting was at that hotel.
Well, that's public information.
Right.
But the Hilton is a massive hotel with many, many entrances. He knew exactly where to be because he knew exactly where Brian Thompson was walking from, the Marriott. And he wasn't staying at the hotel where the conference was happening.
I know it's a good point. And also it's a good point that someone must have known something. He was talking on the phone, and yet we had a picture of him that was out in the public for days, and no one called police to say, this is the guy I know. So there's something else going on here, and we're going to find out. But kudos to the McDonald's employee who did what others would not do.
So what do you make of all these wanted posters appearing around New York City right now with Brian Thompson's name, a big red X through it? There are other CEOs featured on these posters. This is chilling.
It is. And the fact that there are a lot of people out there who want to donate money to Luigi's defense fund shows you the kind of politics we're in today. It's about anger and outrage, but it is absolutely wrong. What he did was murder. He deserves to spend the rest of his life in prison. I hope that people putting up those posters think again, because if they encourage someone to commit a violent act, they could be charged themselves.
And we have Amazon taking down merchandise, holiday sweaters with deny, delay, depose. I mean, this has really caught fire somehow, and I'm not really sure what that says about us as a country right now, or the country's anger at the healthcare industry. Dave Aronberg, thank you so much. Thanks so much for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.